In a world of seemingly endless podcasts comes what many would call another one. Welcome to the Two Men podcast with your hosts Tim Matson and Phil Powell. Now please join these two confirmed men, that's two moderately entertaining nerds, as they take you on another podcast adventure that's guaranteed to be funny. Or not. This week the two men discuss the benefits of having superpowers.
Woo!
All right.
We're recording.
You've been thinking about this?
I have not been thinking about this
That's good.
because I've been thinking about how to get this darn recorder to work. That's the bane of our existence.
Nice. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Two Men podcast starring two of the most moderately entertaining nerds on the planet.
Absolutely.
That's me, Tim.
And me, Phil.
It's good to be with you today
Yes. And tomorrow.
and maybe tomorrow. And
Next week.
let me open my soda. Oh, you can't hear that. That's very disappointing.
Oh, you
was
can't.
hoping
No,
for
you
a
can
big-
hear that.
Can you? Okay.
Tim's.
I'm indulging in a soda break.
I'm going to describe what Tim's doing. If you could slurp. Yeah. Oh, that's. You know what? I should have brought some food to eat.
That's good. Well, the way I'm looking at it is this builds intimacy with the audience.
Oh.
Shows us doing common human things.
Because they assume that we're not like them, that we're
No,
above them,
we're definitely not like them because
We-
we have a podcast.
and they don't.
They don't.
unless
Clearly.
you're a podcast listener and you have more than listeners that we have, and then we bow before you.
Then we would love to have you promote our podcast.
That's right. Oh,
This is going off the rails.
Oh,
Already.
yeah, that's
we haven't
right.
even started talking about what we're going to talk about today.
that's right. We're going to talk about
We're going to talk about superpowers that would be super useful.
as compared to.
Superpowers who are not at all useful.
We won't talk about those.
We may talk about some of those.
Yeah, we might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was an idea I floated to you yesterday, and as per our usual preparation schedule,
Yes.
you have devoted how much time to preparing for this?
0.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in like 24 hours, you've put in 0 hours. So there's
Yes.
0 billable
No.
hours on this.
No, I have put in hours. They just haven't been on this.
Well,
I've slept vigorously.
well, that's true, but that's not billable. I'm not going to pay you for that.
Oh,
You don't get to put that in for payroll.
By the way, Tim pays me in Bitcoin.
It's not even that. I pay you in dog coin.
Dog coin.
Yeah, the dog meme coin.
I'll take that. Oh, Tim's going to take another drink. Look at you needing fluids on a regular basis.
It's true.
You're so needy.
I am very needy.
Needing fluids.
It's my superpower, needy.
Yeah,
Maybe. Yeah, there's a lot of things. I have a lot of needs.
you're needy.
I am very needy.
Let me ask you, do you like your hamburgers? Not that I condone eating hamburgers, but do you like your hamburgers fixed in just a particular way?
I do indeed. I do like them very,
I knew it.
very particular.
You're one of those guys.
I'm incredibly particular about my food.
Yeah, I almost came to blows with my brother one time because we stopped at a. Could you make that noise again?
I try. I could try. I don't think I could. It sounded like the creature from the Black Lagoon was setting up shop in my throat.
See, this is what happens when you drink, ladies and gentlemen.
And record.
And you get all
I
kinds.
still maintain this is common human behavior, so I'm
relatable.
trying to be relatable to the audience.
Whereas normally people would think we don't fart, we don't make bodily noises.
Celebrities don't. Celebrities never go to the bathroom.
Well, you know what? You say that, and that's true because Jennifer Aniston can't see her doing it.
No, I don't really want to. That's fine. It's not my bag.
So yeah, I get this. We're gonna be relatable. I tell you what, I'm gonna
start there. I think that's a great superpower to start this off with: the ability to eat Taco Bell and not fart. That's a great superpower.
Yeah,
because you can indulge in all the border runs you want to Taco Bell, and not like inflict a Dutch oven on your significant other at night.
So do you get up if you have to fart?
Depends. How long have we been dating?
Well, okay.
I mean, there's that grace period where you can't do anything wrong in front of this person. And then after you pass a certain point, there comes the time where one of you is on the toilet and the other one is brushing your teeth, and it's nothing.
Right.
That's when you know you're solid in the relationship.
Well, or at least you're in a rut.
Or that's also possible. Or you have, again, very weird fetish.
Yeah. I think the best power would be a superpower would be able to eat anything you want and not have to get rid of it later. I think that it just all evaporates, goes to fertilize trees magically, out of your stomach, does whatever your body needs to do with it, and then it just goes, it teleports. So if I had an Enterprise teleporter inside my intestines that could teleport out.
That's some miniaturization working there.
Yeah. It's like, what was that thing with Raquel Welch where they went into the body?
The only thing that comes to mind is Inner Space.
No.
That's not the right one.
That's the one where they went
That's
inside
Dennis Quaid.
Where they injected and they went inside the body.
Fantastic Voyage?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Raquel Welch, she's still a very attractive woman.
Yes. And I think she's available.
That's a Fantastic Voyage I would sign up for.
That's right.
Getting back to the superpowers.
Yes. Getting back to superpowers
that we should have. I think something that would be incredibly useful is to be able to look at something and know exactly what its measurement is. So if you're taking something apart, you know exactly how big that bolt is, so you get the right socket on the first try.
Yeah.
You don't have to try out like 3 or 4 sockets before finally going back to the first one you chose, just because you put it on wrong.
That would be incredible. I think also knowing the perfect thing to say to everyone. That would
knowing what someone wants to hear?
Yeah. I think
that would be nice.
I think we all know what people want to hear, maybe. We have a good idea.
We have suspect. It depends on your level of empathy.
Right. I think it's like, well, you can look inside yourself and say, well, how would I want to be lied to about myself? What lies would I like people to tell me that I'm... Well, it's true. It's like that I'm susceptible to believe.
I'd like to believe that some of those things are true.
Well, right, but that's because they're lying.
Well,
but
I prefer lying to myself, I guess.
Your suspension of disbelief relative to saying things about you that are nice is really low.
I'll accept the most minor of minor compliments.
All right, it's like, your legs are there are
2 of them.
They're very well shaved. They're very well shaved.
They are. It makes me more aerodynamic.
That's right. By the way, listeners, Tim and I, while we are not in our underwear, we are in
not exactly
shorts and T-shirts doing this podcast on a regular basis.
Pretty close.
And I think this goes along with the idea of us trying to be relatable. It's like...
I like to be casual around my audience, yeah.
That's right. But I think this is as far as we should take it.
You don't want to be topless?
I don't...
We can do topless if you want to. I'll do a topless podcast.
If there's no posting of photos... no posting of photos.
All right, we're doing it. I'm doing the pop. There it goes.
No.
There goes the shirt.
Oh.
The shirt is off.
I am not joining you. This is just...
I feel so free.
This is bringing back...
You brought this up.
This is a lot of bad...
You asked for this.
There's a lot of
There's a lot of eye averting going on right now.
There's a lot of bad memories going on. And I don't even want to talk about it.
I feel very, very comfortable in my skin right at this moment. Thank you, Phil.
Oh, and he's drinking.
Drinking? This is great.
Like he's a supermodel.
I am. I might actually just like pour this over my head like Flashdance.
So Tim has pink nipples.
I do. They're very, very sensitive. That's my superpower.
I
have incredibly sensitive nipples.
All right. I don't know.
You don't know where to go now, do you?
No.
I've called your bluff.
All right. I'm going to take off my top.
All right, do it.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Phil has removed his headphones. Now the shirt is going off. Oh my God, I'm blinded by the whiteness. Holy cow. Woo.
I think Tim's getting a little roused.
I am getting a little bit randy over here. Yeah. It is hard to concentrate now.
You know that it's episode 22 when we've taken our tops off for the podcast. Now, there is going to be no evidence other than our quavering voices that this ever
And
happened.
the rampant homoeroticism just sizzling off this podcast.
No, see, now we talked about fan fiction in an earlier episode.
Yeah.
Like between us.
Yeah. Yeah, we did talk about that.
That somebody might write it.
I have a feeling we're sparking some right now.
Well, if this doesn't do it, I don't know what is.
This is episode 22, right?
Yes.
You know what this means for like a future episode.
For pants?
Yeah, I mean we're gonna have to go full Monty at some point.
All right. Let's make that episode
100.
100. All right. That's 2 years down the
You
road.
heard it here, folks. Episode 100 will be the full Monty episode.
Oh my gosh. We are shredding listeners. We are shredding listeners.
Yeah.
All right.
Losing them by the second.
All right. This experiment is done.
It's done?
It's
Okay.
over. We're putting our tops back on.
Tops back on.
The audience has had
They've
enough.
had enough. I can't focus on the topic without my shirt on.
You know what? Never have I wanted to be back inside my own t-shirt so badly. And well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you find our humiliation as entertaining as we did.
Yeah. We only do this for you.
Yeah. We subjected ourselves to each other, which is normally like just our personalities, which is pretty bad. All right, superpowers.
Okay, fine. Superpowers.
I think a superpower that we could both agree on that would be great to have is looking good naked. I think based upon the experience that we just had, looking good naked, that would be a great superpower.
I'm offended by that insinuation.
All right.
I'm picking up from the tone of your voice that you don't really care for that.
No,
you don't care about that. I'm offended by that.
Here's the thing. You looked fine.
Thank you.
You looked fine.
I look like a normal human being.
You look like a normal human being.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pass judgment.
Okay, fine.
All right. You looked fine. If we're just eliminating the facade, you look fine. But wouldn't it be great to look great?
It'd be great to look great.
Be great to look great.
Yeah.
Right. And you'd be whipping off your top all the time.
Without any kind of work involved. Would that be like a shape-shifting power?
Yes.
That would be nice.
Like Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
He has the ability to suck in his gut if he wants.
He could maybe use that power to like ungray his hair. Maybe that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least bend his hair around on top of it.
Yeah, I was going to say you bend the brown hair down over that white on the sides.
That's like a Mr. Fantastic comb over.
Maybe Sue is into that sort of thing.
Yeah. See, talk about one of those romances that didn't make sense.
That makes total sense.
She was well, if you're Mr. Fantastic, it makes sense.
Imagine what his powers can do.
Man,
I'm just saying.
It's even the extraordinary becomes boring after a while.
How about the ability to match any color? Find corresponding colors to match any color.
Yeah, that'd be a great superpower.
That would be a really nice superpower.
Well, that's like you're a fashionista.
Well,
that would be a great name.
Possibly, but I'm talking about like Pantone accurate color.
So far, our superpowers seem to be fairly domestic and pedestrian.
It could be, yeah.
It's like,
hey, I'm not shooting big. I'm not like saying I want super invulnerability. I just want an edge.
You just want some sort of competitive edge that you
do want an edge, yeah.
Like you can brag to at the bar.
Yeah, something that maybe might get someone to go home with me at the bar.
I think I'd just go with plain old rich. So superpowers that I might want that might be useful.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to have laundry that did itself. And
so laundry that would like take itself from the laundry basket.
Yes.
Into the machine.
Yes.
Then jump into the dryer and then fold itself. And put itself
away. Folding itself laundry.
That would be nice. I would settle for just the folding itself.
That's the laundry having superpowers.
Well, it could be telekinesis.
Right.
You can do it by telekinesis.
I don't want to tax myself. I don't want to tax
you folding the laundry then.
Right, but that's me thinking about folding the laundry, and that still sounds hard.
Yeah.
Bed sheets are the worst.
The fitted sheets are...
I think I'd even screw that up using telekinesis.
What if you could automatically clean them with your mind? That way, all you had to do is when you're done with something, you just hang it right back up and zap it with your mind, and it's clean.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
So we're modifying the power.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's no laundry involved anymore. You just zap something lemony fresh with your mind.
Tim's superpower
would be to make my phone not freaking ring when I'm doing stuff.
Well, that means you're wanted.
But I'm not wanted by the people I want to be wanted by.
Is it Catherine Bach?
It's not Catherine Bach, and that is a real tragedy.
Is it any Bach? Any of the Bachs?
None of the Bachs really have my phone number.
Hey, let's get together for drinks. Johann Sebastian. No, what's the other Bach? There's Catherine Bach and
Barbara Bach.
Barbara Bach, that's right.
Ringo Starr's wife.
Is she still his wife?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
That seems like a long time.
I'm not well versed in Ringo lore.
That seems like a long time for one couple when you're that rich.
Well, you're assuming rich people just trade them in? Like getting a new car?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm stereotyping wealthy people.
How wealthy do you need to be to trade them in?
Wealthy enough to stand a divorce and still be insanely wealthy.
Oh, okay. So if you can divide what you got in half and still be stupid rich, it's fine.
Yeah. I think that's exactly the formula that goes on.
That seems about right.
Is if you're wealthy enough, screw it. I'll just take the hit. I'll trade her in for this.
It's a pretty bleak outlook for marriage.
Pretty bleak outlet.
Outlet or outlook, either one.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing it.
Bring me down.
Certainly not after we took off our tops and we've done a self-evaluation.
Well, the thing that got me on this whole superhero idea is we've been watching Luke Cage on Netflix.
Yes.
Are you aware of it?
I saw the other one, the Jessica Jones.
Right. Okay. Where he was a character on that show. This is his own show. And it is fantastic.
Really?
It's really good. Mike Coulter, the guy that plays Luke Cage, is amazing. The music is outstanding. Holy cow. It's fantastic. They have a lot of the score to the episode is very much in the vein of like blaxploitation films from the 70s. It's got a lot of like a cool bass line. It just sounds really cool. And then they have a lot of the scenes take place in a nightclub. So you have black entertainers like Raphael Sadiq doing songs in the background. That's
cool.
It is really cool. The show is fantastic, and I can't say enough about it. Right now, we're on episode 6. We're halfway through, and it's a 13-episode series, and we're just absolutely loving it.
I think that's great. Do you want his powers, though?
I don't know. I mean, his powers are cool. I mean, he's got impermeable skin. He can't be broken by like gunfire or knives or anything like that. And he's really strong, but it's not a terribly memorable superpower.
Yeah.
The interesting contrast between the two, the Daredevil TV series has this fantastic hallway scene in which it's a long, ostensibly a continuous shot, although there are lots of hidden cuts of him just beating the tar out of all these dudes down this long hallway and them coming out of doors and him pushing them back in. You hear all this punching, and then the guy goes flying out the door. It's really cool.
Right.
And Luke Cage is much more like a bulldozer.
Right.
I mean, he goes in and just bulldozes down this line of dudes with a car door that he ripped off of a car outside.
Right.
Which is cool in and of itself, but it's not all that exciting to watch. The thing that got me excited about Luke Cage is in a political climate where we're having a lot of problems with black people being shot by police, and there being a lot of controversy over Black Lives Matter and people saying, no, all lives matter, and not getting the idea of why that's problematic.
Right.
You have a superhero who is black, and his superpower is literally his skin. And that, to me, is an incredible message, an empowering message for people in this political climate.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's really exciting that they're making that show like right now.
Right.
With what's going on.
Cool. I will watch it at some point, I'm sure. Getting back to superpowers.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to when you were a kid. What is the superpower that you wanted more than anything?
I've always wanted to be able to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing I always wanted to do.
One of the favorite things I used to do is ride my bike up and down my street at Oblong and pretend that I was one of the super friends. So that I had a superpower that was being fast on my bike.
Nice.
That was my superpower.
It could be the Flash. I'm sure the Flash could pedal a bike pretty quick.
So I would create my own story. It could only happen on my block, more specifically on the street where I was allowed to ride, and on the sidewalk.
Sure.
Which in hindsight seems dangerous for pedestrians.
I don't know. How many pedestrians are there really in Oblong? Not many.
Not many. However, I can remember distinctly, I was in the middle of my narrative where I was riding the bike the fastest that I could, ringing my bell, fighting some villain, riding down the street, again at the climax.
Was your bell part of your weaponry?
I don't exactly remember that part, but it was another way in which I could boost, engage, the final, if I only can ring my bell. So like that, all comics have that element. Mrs. Lindley, the choir director, who we had some history, she would sometimes come out and interrupt me when I was in the middle of my bike riding pretend story with my super friends. And that just ruined it.
That does kind of put a damper on things.
She's like, slow down.
Now, did you put like cards on your spokes so that they made the motor sound?
I did.
Baseball cards or playing cards?
I wasn't allowed to have playing cards.
Okay, so baseball cards.
Baseball cards. I could destroy baseball cards, but ironically not playing cards, which seems like my parents would have let me.
Yeah, that seems like it, yeah.
But don't play with them. Don't be tempted. I think they probably would have not allowed it because I might have been tempted to take them out and play with one.
Were they really against playing cards?
Yeah, I couldn't have playing cards.
No kidding.
I couldn't have any playing cards.
So even like bridge was verboten?
No. Well, I mean, bridge using playing cards. Yes.
How else would you play bridge?
You can play almost all playing card games with substitute cards. If you just make symbols for, in essence, the cards, you can play almost all games.
Okay, but isn't that essentially doing the same thing as if you had the cards?
Yeah, but not in my parents' mind. That was okay.
Okay, so just breaking this down, the problem wasn't the gambling games, it was the physical card itself that was the problem.
Well, no, I mean, I think they would, you're right. They would not, if we had said we were playing poker they would not have allowed that. But bridge, anything, it was the gambling aspect that was the problem. Anything,
right. That's what I was saying.
Anything where I could have lost my soul to gambling was a problem. So poker,
sure,
fancy card dealing.
So you don't know how to play poker?
You know what? I've played poker a couple of times, but
we're gonna have to bring you over and put you in a game then.
I might lose my soul.
That's why we're including you.
Okay. Well, yeah.
You can keep your soul just as long as you lose your money. That's fine. Ooh, that would be a superpower worth having. Being able to know what the odds are that you would draw the correct card.
Oh, yes.
That's a great superpower.
Yes. That'll get you kicked out of Vegas.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. You could use that on anything. If you just knew if you could calculate the odds of any event happening.
Yes.
You could totally game the system.
Yes.
Just by going to where the optimal place was that someone would lose $10,000 in cash. And just be there for that moment.
And you could also go to the optimal place where somebody might be willing to have sex with you.
That's true. If you can find that actual moment when Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt broke up and were at their most acrimonious.
That's right.
And she was looking for anybody, especially the homelier the better.
That's right. To show
him.
That's right.
That she'll take this guy over you.
That's right.
That seems like a great power to have.
If only you'd known.
If only I'd known that breakup was imminent.
I think you might have had a problem getting past security, though.
Okay, I need another superpower.
All right, that's true. You know what? You do. You need multiple superpowers.
Okay.
You can't just get by on one or two.
Well, I think you could with the right one.
No, now you're superpower rationing. And that only happened during World War II.
Well, really, I mean, how many people have, so many different superpowers? A lot of them have, one dominant superpower, maybe some secondary things that go with it.
Well, really, how many superpowers are there really? Okay, there's strong,
Sure.
there's fast,
Uh-huh.
and there's fly. That's it.
Well, there's being invisible.
And being invisible.
Yeah.
That's 4.
I mean, those are like the main superpowers, I would think.
So being invisible is about being deceitful.
Could be.
I would like to have been invisible.
There were times in junior high where I thought I was. So sad.
Did you get asked to any of the like Sadie Hawkins dance type things?
They couldn't see me. I was invisible.
Oh, so the answer would be no?
That was when my superpower was at its height.
Was that its height in junior high?
Yeah. In junior high was when my invisibility powers were at their absolute peak. Little did I know. See, I thought I was just a normal kid, but actually, I was able to turn invisible. I just didn't know it.
Superpowers,
yeah.
I think a lot of what we're coming up is pretty crappy.
I mean, they're superpowers. They're better than what we have now.
I could come up with superpowers that I think probably you would not find useful.
I doubt it. There's been comic books around some really dumb superheroes.
All right.
So I think that a superpower, by its very existence, makes you better.
Just the label.
Just the label. I mean, if you have a superpower, you're better than a normal individual.
What if you are the comb-over master?
I would be working for the Donald Trump campaign and crafting that amazingly complex. I mean, think about it.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That is a very complex thing that's going on his head.
It is.
It's really, is it a wig? Is it a comb-over?
See, I maintain
Is it a sentient, like, orange being that's landed on his head and set up shop there? If he had a superpowered individual creating that comb-over, you wouldn't know it's a comb-over.
Well, here's where I think the comb-over power would work well, is if you were only in competition with other men with receding hair. Here's how you would use your power. I'm contradicting myself.
So, see, you're proving my point.
I guess you're right. So there's a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
You've got a baldish head or thinning hair.
Mm-hmm.
You coif it so rapidly and so well, and know how to stand in the light just perfectly.
Yes.
That she goes, oh, like
That's
that.
some amazing hair.
Oh my gosh. And out of the corner of the bar walks in Brad Pitt or some other very sexy man. No, hear me out.
Oh, okay.
You also, you have also anti-comb-over ability.
You can make him look like he has receding hairline?
Right, so you quickly,
Ooh.
no, you don't have super speed, but you walk briskly.
Without disturbing the hair.
That's right. But you always keep your head at the right angle.
Sure.
To her. You say, hi, Brad, and you, without getting tackled, you touch his hair in such a way and so quickly and so deftly that it looks like that his hair is thinning. It's like an anti-comb-over, although it's not. But your skills are so...
See, you are proving my point. You think that weird superpowers can't be awesome. I say they can.
That's right. I guess you're right.
I am right. Throw me another one. Give me another one.
Peanut butter and jelly spreader super spreading skills. Okay.
That is actually an incredibly useful skill because if you have the ratio of peanut butter to jelly off in the slightest, it ruins the sandwich because you got too much jelly, you got leakage.
Yes.
You got bread being soggy.
Yes.
Right? Too little jelly, and it just tastes like funky peanut butter.
So how could you save the planet with that skill? Give me a scenario.
Save the planet with that skill?
Save the planet.
Well, I think that there's nothing more relaxing and wholesome and reminding you of your youth than a great peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So let's say there's a coup brewing in a country where nuclear weapons are involved.
Yes.
You could swoop in there, make them the greatest homemade peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. They'll remember their moms, and they will suddenly burst into tears, remembering their dear old mom, and they'll want to make peace.
All right, and I'm going to prove your point even further. I just think you're thinking small.
Oh, yeah?
You're not thinking correctly.
Okay.
if there were an alien invasion, I would whip out a big loaf of bread, and I mean really big, and I would spread it with jelly, and I would throw it at the aliens in space. I would probably need the help of somebody who could throw.
Probably.
So another superpower.
I recommend the Hulk. The Hulk could probably whip
he would
that
be.
thing,
I'd have to call him. I don't know his cell. Do you know his cell?
No, I don't have him on speed dial, but I can find it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's available somewhere. So I would throw the peanut butter and jelly. I would throw the slice of bread that was jelly.
Right.
The entire huge slice of jelly bread at the aliens. They would become entangled in the jelly. It would leak everywhere.
No,
They would become furious.
there's a flaw in your plan.
What is the flaw?
The jelly side always lands on the floor whenever you throw it in the air.
Well, where's the floor in space, though?
Ooh, that's a great question.
That's a philosophical
That's a
question.
very philosophical question.
Where's the floor in space?
Where is the floor in space? Here's a superpower for you. One that I think that you will find very useful.
Yes.
The ability to hold an ink cartridge and know exactly how many pages left it'll print.
Yes.
That is a superpower.
So, if you were put before the Super Friends and you were an applicant and you had this power, if I'm Superman, it's like, so, Mr. Tim Matson, ink cartridge man, what makes you think you're qualified to be the next Super Friend?
I can save you so much money on office products.
Murmur.
Yes.
Batman says, it's true.
It is true.
We do spend a lot.
I'm sure they go through a lot of office products.
You know, that is one thing that you don't see the Super Friends ever do, is sit down.
Change the toner?
Change the toner, or even sit down and watch a PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, God. If I was Superman, you couldn't get me to sit
You
down
talk
and
about
watch
a power. If I had the power to make PowerPoint die, that would be the greatest superpower. It's like a nullification
You
field.
could selectively erase an innovation.
Yes. If I had a choice,
That's legit.
if I could have a field where PowerPoint within a 5-mile radius around me wouldn't work, that would be great. I would take business meetings all day long. Be like, hey, we want to show you a presentation. Great. Try it. So I'll give you a skill. So, hairy ears. If you had extra hairy ears, how could that be a good superpower?
All right, let's go with this. Let's say you have an excessive amount of ear hair.
Yeah.
All right.
Make it a superpower.
Right. I'm going to make it a superpower. I'm going to say that those ear hair are under your control.
Right.
Right. And we know that vibrations are how you hear.
Yes.
So what if you could extend that ear hair
Yes.
out into like another room
Right.
and pick up the vibration through that hair? You could hear what's going on in the other room. And a hair is so small, no one's going to notice it. So you just extend that ear hair under the door or through a lock.
A hair is small. No one's going to notice
No
it.
one's going to notice it. It's just a hair.
Hey, that's a little hair.
I could weave an ear hair through your shag carpet here.
It's like a 6-foot hair. That's not.
Well, it's not like 5 inches in diameter. What is the diameter of a hair?
I don't know. I think with ear hair, it's coarse, and I think it's curly. I think it would have to be
All
kind
right,
of.
well, if you have control over it, you can flatten that stuff out.
All right. So, all right, I'll give you that.
Okay.
The ability to flatten it out. Your
You
ear.
flatten out your ear hair, you extend it out into another room, and you're an eavesdropper on like maybe a potential business deal,
Right.
or you know exactly what someone is looking for. The previous presenter was terrible. You know why they were terrible. You can go in and be great.
Now that we've got this, I think that's great. But perfect, you would have to team up with the comb over master because he would make your ear hair presentable.
Oh, that's a good point.
He would make, because that's the problem you're going to face, because you're going to be hideous to all mankind.
What if you could change that to look like that was your hair? You're a super spy.
You're a super spy.
Yeah.
Going back to your fantasy of being a spy.
Yeah, exactly. So I can just get my ear hair to grow long. I can be a super spy.
Yeah. I think that's a good plan. And you know what? Based upon my casual observations of us, we're on our way. I think
Well, it's possible. You're gonna tell my barber not to be so harsh on him next time. I think we've discussed superhero stuff long enough.
Long enough for our audience, Lord knows.
Long enough. They tuned out about 10 minutes ago when we took our shirts off.
I don't think that part should be in the podcast. All right. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Instant Opinion, where I give Tim one word, or maybe 10 words, and he has 10 seconds to form an instant opinion on the word. Are you ready, Tim?
It's my favorite part of the show, Phil. I'm ready to go.
All right. I don't have the piece.
Where's your list? Phil, you're screwing it up again.
All right.
It's good to know that there are some constants in our lives.
That's right. If nothing else. Are we ready?
I'm ready. I have the timer ready, Phil.
All right. Okay, good. All right.
I know you sound surprised.
Number 1, Charles Dickens.
Charles Dickens. I am pro Charles Dickens because I just like his last name because it just sounds like puckish and fun and quite opposed to the dreary Victorian novels that he wrote.
All right. I thought it was going to be for another reason.
Nope.
Portnoy's complaint.
Wait, what?
Portnoy's complaint.
Portnoy's complaint.
Mm-hmm.
It's always those assholes over on the port side of the boat. Us starboard people like to party, and if they have a problem with that, they can jump off the boat.
That's right.
That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, you're going to need to look that up afterwards. Spirited jousting.
Spirited jousting. I am pro spirited jousting because I love medieval times.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great place. The last time we went, we were in the White Knight section, and he won the joust. It was very exciting. I'm against spirited jousting because that.
You can't
I
do
don't know.
it?
I can't. I'm not very spirited when it comes to jousting.
You can't joust,
I
right?
can joust. It just won't be very spirited. I could stroll at you with a lance.
You could get on a horse.
I could get on a horse.
And somebody could hand you like a 60-pound lance.
They could hand it to me.
And you
can't guarantee I would carry it.
And
They're more than welcome to hand it to me.
I don't think you could joust.
Oh, whatever.
All right. Charlie's Angels post Farrah.
Charlie's Angels post Farrah only goes so far because post Farrah is Cheryl Ladd. And that is perfectly acceptable in my book. It's when you move on past that and you get to Tanya Roberts and whatever that other blonde girl was, that's not Charlie's Angels.
I want to say Shelley something. Shelley
Shelley Duvall as Charlie's Angels. That would be a really...
No, I don't think it was Shelley Duvall.
Give
Shelley Hack? No, is that right?
Shelley Hack, I think that's right.
Oh, I don't know.
Not Shelley Duvall.
No, not Shelley Duvall. Clinging clothes.
Clinging clothes. I like clinging clothes on the right individuals. On the wrong individuals, it means you chose the wrong size of shirt.
Oh.
Yeah.
You judge
You need to go back and get a new size.
You judge them.
I'm a very judgmental person.
Colonial Williamsburg.
Colonial Williamsburg. I remember having a great time in Colonial Williamsburg when I was a little kid because we went with my cousins, and my cousin Stephanie and I got locked in the stockades, which was really cool, and we had a great time. Now probably be kind of boring. I don't know. I don't know that I would look on it as much fun.
It's hot and expensive.
Is it hot and expensive? I am against that then because as we've talked about in the past, I don't do heat very well.
That's right. Dalmatians.
Dalmatians. The downside is it takes 101 of them to make a decent coat. The upside is that if you want just like maybe a short cape, you can use fewer.
Yeah. You know, that's a horrible premise for a film. I mean, I guess
a children's film especially. Like, I'm going to hunt down and skin all these adorable puppies and make clothing out of them.
Well, it does.
That's pretty dark, man.
Does make her evil, I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's not much more evil that you can get to a small child than someone who's going to skin puppies to make a coat.
That's right.
It's pretty bad.
She could have used like 10 adults. But that would have made a less interesting film.
Yes.
10 Dalmatians.
10 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really as exciting as 101.
Yeah. Spider's hair.
Spider's hair? I think it's part of what makes them kind of gross looking. I don't like spiders' hair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like hairy spiders. Well, I don't really care for spiders in general, really, but they eat other bugs, and I like other bugs less, so spiders are acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
That's about as far as I'll go. They're acceptable.
Girls with glasses.
Girls with glasses. Kind of partial to girls with glasses. I think it's just one more dimension to them that makes them interesting. Okay. At the end of the day, I like girls. So girls with glasses.
Girls without glasses.
I like girls without glasses. Either one.
You
perfectly
are not
acceptable.
You are not a girl bigot.
I'm not much of a girl bigot.
No,
right. I'm a pretty big fan of the girls.
That's all.
That's it?
That's it.
It's pretty weak.
Yeah, well. Judging my
instant opinion is that was pretty weak list.
Well, you know what? You can make your own list.
I'll make my own list next
Give
time.
it to yourself in my absence. Oh, jeez. That's pretty.
This is a great show.
Oh, all right.
I think this is a great show. This is going to go down in history among our shows as one of the great ones.
All right. This is definitely rated PG-13.
This is definitely going to be an explicit show.
Oh, all right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Greetings. I am Alice, highly paid digital assistant to the two moderately entertaining nerds of the Two Men podcast. Want to let us know what you thought of the show? Have a topic you'd like to hear discussed? Feel like demanding your money back? We'd love to hear from you on 2 out of those 3 questions. Drop us an email at twomencast@gmail.com. In the meantime, please rate us and leave a review on iTunes or your podcast service of choice. Also, for all discussions moderately entertaining, you can find us at facebook.com/2mencast. Please join us again next week when we'll be guaranteed to be funny. Or not.